Hello everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, finally here with the 20 FPS Go Play. I've been trying to get my hands on one of these, and when I finally had the opportunity, originally it was outdated 2023 footage I would have been collecting for you, and I wanted to get you all the new updates on this because this is one that I think has actually evolved quite nicely. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to show you the original iteration, so what are we looking at here today? This is an RV, it's less than 24 foot tip to tail. It's just a little bit over 6,000 pounds gross vehicle maximum weight, so this is something that definitely, I think, comfortably qualifies for a lot of half-ton towability. Now, what's really cool about this RV, it is like the definition of what I call smarter class, not starter class, where it's not big, flashy, fancy, over the top, but it checks major boxes. And again, some of the updates that have been applied to this one based on your feedback on the Go Plays in general really hit home on this one. Like a bigger refrigerator last year, it was about a third smaller than what it is now, so the fridge has grown up significantly. These are also a little bit taller ceiling, which I really appreciate as a taller person when I get in the shower. This is carpetless and ventless flooring, so it's very easy to keep clean. And this one has absolutely fantastic traveling access. And as a tandem axle Go Play, we have also outfitted these now with a factory standard 15,000 BTU instead of the previous 13.5, and they now, instead of being solar prepped, they actually have a 200-watt solar package on the roof with a 30-amp charge controller. Now, that's not the kind of solar that's going to run an air conditioner, but it's a pretty solid battery tender is what it is, and it does have the capacity to kind of be daisy-chained and extended a little bit if you want a little bit more action right there. Now, the wind is picking up, so I'm going to step inside here, but there's a bunch of really good qualities on this one I'm looking forward to showing you, and it's got a couple hitches in its giddy-up. Even though this is our exclusive branded trailer here at Bish's RV, I've never said I've seen the perfect trailer yet, and I really want to hear from you folks. Where did we nail it? Where did we fail it? How can we continue to improve this for you as we go? Now, thankfully, as you saw in our floor plan in a flash, this is not what the living room normally looks like. I've taken the liberty of actually beginning our main portion of our video today with the slide closed, so as you can see how this thing has some excellent travel access. Now, one of the things I want to point out, it's a little bit of a bummer to me that this does come with a short queen bed from the factory, but if you look at this, when the slide closes, there is still room for a true queen bed to be able to get in here and clear the slide fascia. So, you know, if you wanted to put in a longer 80-inch true queen bed, you absolutely could. But your bed, your kitchen, because the refrigerator is right next to me, as we're going to see right by the door, your bed, your kitchen, your bathroom, all of this stuff remains very easily travel accessible. And the thing is, it's good for more than just travel access. There's a lot of people that live in an area where, like, they just don't physically have the room to, like, park an RV in their driveway or buy their house, or the HOA doesn't let them. This is an RV that makes it so that you don't have to worry about those things. And I've asked this before, and I think I know what's going to be a virtually overwhelming answer, but I'll ask again. Would you like to see a version of this floor plan without a slide? Now, when that wall for the slide is out of the way, it would help the RV look and feel bigger, but there is no denying it. This is a big open living space in a small camper. What's cool about this, like, if you're familiar with this layout, like Rockwood, Freedom Express, a lot of brands make this layout, but usually it's just a small, shallow little jackknife slide. And this one has a full floor flush, deep sofa slide. And what that does is it really opens up the space in here. It makes it like one of the biggest little campers you're ever going to run into. Now, I'm kind of curious. Like, I don't dislike all the bright lighting up here. But if you notice, like, there's a really aggressive lighting package in this thing, and I almost wonder if that couldn't be cut down by half. It would save you a little bit of money, and frankly, I don't think you'd lose any function on the RV. But did you notice how the lights in front of the bedroom curtain, they operate separately, so that, like, somebody walks in the back door, they can't flick on the lights and, like, blind you in the morning. And by the way, can we just acknowledge how cool it is that it actually has at least a little bit of a bedroom curtain? If you give me a little bit here, I'm going to actually close the curtain up. I'll open up all the storage in the video in a few minutes. The curtain's a little bit sheer, but at night, I don't know that it matters too much. Now, solar has moved from being something that these are prepped for to being standard. It's a 30-amp charge controller with a 200-watt panel up top. Now, that means you could probably plug in another 200-watt panel pretty easily. And it is a PWM charge controller, so it's not quite as efficient as an MPPT. It's not intended to be a massive, super powerful boondock off-grid package. It's intended to be a good battery tender and something that can potentially extend your camping and peace of mind a little bit when you are off-grid for short times, you know. Now, I kind of mentioned earlier this is a Camp Queen, but just to sort of reiterate that in the main portion of our video, there is, again, room for a True Queen in there if you are so inclined, which I think is cool. And then being more of a basic, simple series, this one's not built around the idea of sitting inside watching the boob tube all day. But if you choose to, right up there on the wall, you see that little red and white sticker. It's telling you that there is a spot in that wall right there designed to mount a television. Now, one of the other really cool things about this, being a stick-built camper, is that unlike a laminated wall, where if they didn't put something in the wall for you to, like, attach a TV mount, you better not do it, because it might just rip out of the wall because there's no structure there. With a stick-built wall, every 16 inches on average, on center, and sometimes less, you've got a stud in the wall that you can use a stud finder to, you know, locate that thing. Now, if anyone doesn't know how to calibrate a stud finder, well, that's almost like a dad joke in and of itself. The campsite window coverage isn't excellent, but I've definitely seen worse. I've seen less. And I think by virtue of the fact that it is kind of an open concept design, it's not too terrible. Now, I want to hit something on the head here. This does not have centralized air because it is quite small, and generally speaking, it is a one-cabin RV. It was kind of deemed that maybe that doesn't necessarily need to be there, but remember, that is a larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner, so that should help move some air around. It does mean that the bathroom might get a little bit warmer than some of the rest of the RV. Now, up here, we got ourselves a big stainless farm sink. That's something you could bathe a baby in if you need to. Doesn't include a factory sink cover, but again, little widgets and whiz-bangs like that, that's easy stuff for us to handle. What I like is that we've maintained an oven and a microwave and a stovetop, and we've even improved the size of the refrigerator while also maintaining some countertop prep space over there. A lot of manufacturers in the stick and tin price-sensitive series, they seem to be phasing out things like ovens. And our goal with these Go Plays was not to give you, you know, an RV that costs less because it has less. You could certainly say there's some things this RV doesn't do, and that's absolutely true. But our goal was to give you an RV that is indicative of a stick and tin class, where we found ways to remove cost from it by doing things like this, like doing our own marketing instead of depending on factories for marketing, to reduce the cost that way while still giving you a fully featured RV. That right there is one of the key differences in what we do. I do like the high-rise sprayer faucet. It's got that little pull-down sprayer head as well. And the location of the fuse panel, basically your breaker box, is right by the door. So God forbid a slide fails because a fuse blows or something like that. It doesn't, it's not blocked by a slide out, which is a defect I see some RVs have. Now take a look at this fridge. It is larger, but it is also, the door could open either direction. I don't know if it's the most useful thing in this floor plan, but I also don't, like, depending on what you have in your hands at the time, it might be handy. I don't know. It's certainly never going to hurt you by any means. The kitchen, the cabinet below the sink, I actually wish that shelf wasn't there, so it's just a wide open wastebasket space. I think that's one of those things that a lot of RV designers don't think about, because I think a lot of RV designers don't actively go camping. Now, you're thinking, wait a minute, aren't you guys, isn't Bish's the RV designer? Yes and no. Basically, we partnered up with a manufacturer, Highland Ridge RV, and we're allowed to kind of say, okay, we want to do this things with our lineup based on your pre-existing models. So some of this is pre-existing, and some of it we've been able to influence, and there's a lot of it I would like to influence further, and that's why I keep asking questions for your feedback. If we can identify consistent trends, then what we can do is know how to shape and evolve our product moving forward, you know. Now, one of the cool things about this is over there, that is a jackknife Dynofa, where it is a floor flush carpetless jackknife sofa. And in the Go Play series, we don't have options. We don't offer a factory theater seat. We don't offer a factory hide-a-bed. Those things would be nice, but that's just not what we do here, and all of that controls the cost for you. What we did, though, is we did make sure it includes that little free-floating folding leg table, but what's also really cool about that is a lot of floor plans like this have that table. That's not something new that we invented by any stretch of the imagination. There's nothing really completely original about the camper we're looking at. It's just good, smart execution. What I'm getting at, though, is that table slots under the easy lift bed storage, which I love the fact that it has those gas struts for easy storage below the bed, but there's even a couple little beams right there. It's intentionally designed to be able to house that free-floating folding leg table, when you want it out of the way, when you're in transit, whatever the case might be. Now, the bathroom space gets a little bit tight. That is really the one major Achilles heel area of this RV. The elbow room around the toilet is tight. I would call it minimally adequate, but adequate. I'm not a big fan of open face storage. I wish we had something like even some cargo netting right here, I think would be very, very nice. And over here on the left wall, personally, I'd like to see at least an octopus fight club for hanging towels to dry out, or preferably, I'd like to see an actual bath towel bar, because I feel like bath towel bars will dry your stuff out more quickly and easily. Now, looking up top here, a little weird reflection of me in that half-open medicine cabinet over there. Looking up top, you can see it's nice and tall in here. It's 6'9" from floor to ceiling. I'm a little over 6 foot myself, but this is a radius shower. So if you noticed, I had to turn to face the shower head. Actually, I was basically facing this orientation right here, directly into the corner of the shower, facing the knobs, had my belly right at the knobs, and then I was, able to do the elbow work. I could apply the elbow grease, as it were. I really like that it's a nice big Lipitorage storage cabinet right there. And the bath counter space is limited, but I mean, what else are you going to do in a little floor plan like this? It's all that it really could be in that regard. So, I mean, overall, bathroom's a little tight. But in terms of like the overall just space and comfort factor in a small RV, I think this thing is pretty solid. And I think especially when you take a second look at the weights and the measures over here, it's that combination of decent space inside, like generally speaking, good living space. It never feels really small or cramped. I think for a small RV, it has a respectable kitchen prep area. The bathroom, albeit a little tight, is at least taller in the shower, which is kind of nice. But you marry that up with the towability factors, less than 24-foot total tip to tail length, and something that generally speaking, you don't even need like a real heavy duty kind of half ton, could tow this one around pretty comfortably here. Now up front, power tongue jack doing the heavy lifting for us, and if you're not familiar with how to properly hitch up a weight distribution system, you actually, get the trailer hooked to the ball on the truck, and then you actually crank the tongue jack up to lift and take weight off the front of it, and that's when you actually hook up your weight distribution system. So having that power tongue jack takes a lot of the extra elbow grease out of the equation for you. We're also currently outfitting these with 30-pound propane tanks, but that's actually one of the things that I've always kind of questioned, especially when you factor in they don't have incredible holding tank capacities on these, so I don't know that it's something where you're going to spend an extreme long-term boondocking. I have always wondered if 20-pound tanks would make a little bit more sense, but some folks like the 30s. Leave me some notes, let me know. Now, if you notice in the upper left corner, it's a little dark. Let me get you over there. This has actually even got some basic inverter prep, which is, again, I think kind of shocking on something like this, but if you are looking to do a little bit of mooch docking or like Walmart parking lot type work, and you need 1 or 2 or 3 of the power outlets in the RV to run off of your battery, and you don't have a generator, you don't have shore power available, you do have the ability to put like a basic inverter upfit in there. Now it's not going to be you're going to wire up and run the air conditioning system. That's just not what this is. We're trying to make an RV here that works for like 70% of people, not every single person, because I think that's a recipe for failure. That's something that you're not going to be successful at. I do appreciate how the windows are still tinted, not only for privacy, but just generally speaking, keeping the sunshine out of the thing. And down below here, by the way, that's a rack and pinion slide on this one. A lot of builders who make this floor plan, it's not a rack and pinion slide. So, you can't do things like have that carpetless floor flush kind of thing. But down below here, it is enclosed. It is also forced air heated. And if we look back there behind the tires, one of the cool things in addition is you'll see that this is what I call a single-headed sewer monster. which is, really, really nice. Both your, bathroom and kitchen, everything exhausts out of this one point. It's just simpler and easier. Now, it doesn't have any sort of sewer hose caddy tube. It does have a bumper on the back, but being real about this, that is a little bit smaller bumper. I don't think a sewer hose with your bayonet fittings are really going to fit on there. So that might be something where you might want to get one of those extra little sewer hose caddy tubes or something like that to mount to the underbelly of this. But that's the thing. Like, these Go plates, like, it's a simple basic water docking station. It has a heated enclosed belly. It's not some super heavy-duty Arctic mega package with a fifth wheel style enclosed docking station. Those things are nice. Certainly they're nice. But that's not the budget kind of class that we're looking at here. And, things like, that sewer hose tube, the caddy tube that I was talking about. You can add a couple bucks to this RV and still be saving a chunk compared to almost anything else in this class. And that's kind of the cool part about it. It leaves you the budget to be able to apply some of those more personal preferential items, which I think is kind of nice. Now, the roof is fully walkable. You can see it's got that telescopic removable ladder prep. It doesn't include the ladder. And with that front storage compartment being so large, you would definitely have an easy place to be able to store one. Although, when the ladder's permanently affixed to the trailer, it's kind of nice because you don't necessarily need to worry about what do I want to say there? Finding a spot to store anything. But then there's a whole bunch of, screws into the outside of the RV that have to be sealed. So you gotta keep that in mind. Now, off the back there, you may have noticed how that propane gas comes out the backside. When the gas comes out the backside, we do know that to be the propanus. That is a very important feature to notate on one of these. I just talked about the roof. I'm sorry. I'm like, I didn't sleep well last night, and I'm really just kind of like mentally in a fog on the struggle bus today. So I think we've pretty much nailed the outside of this thing. I'm going to kind of wrap that up. One thing I do want to point out, we kind of peeked at that simple little water docking station. What's interesting is the fresh water, like, gravity fill. If you're not going to use city water, if you're going to fill the fresh tank and use your water pump for water service in the RV, that's over here. So it's actually in two separate positions. So thanks again for tuning in. Again, I'd really love to hear from you. Do you think this is the kind of RV you'd like to see us try to see if we can execute a no-slide version of something like this? Or, is there a floor plan that we're missing in our lineup or something like that? Let us know. And of course, I'll leave you some links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And I think my teeth just squeak whistled like some little southern moonshine runner. The old man that sits on a log just whittling a stick all day and his teeth whistle when he talks. I'm afraid that's what I'm going to turn into one of these days. But in the meantime, thanks again for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.